Elon Musk is amongst high-profile names who've called for a boycott of Netflix. He said, cancel Netflix for the health of your kids. That's pretty unequivocal, isn't it? Now, this comes after clips of various children's programs have surfaced on social media, with critics saying that the shows are pushing transgender propaganda and other LGBT themes. So here's a couple of them. Have a look at this.
I'm Frankie. Pronouns they, them. I'm only 15 days old.
Hi, Claudine, she, her. Nice to meet ya.
I know that you guys are busy, but as you would see, if you looked at her and not her chart, Bailey is not a boy. And by treating her like one, you are completely ignoring who she is. You're making her feel insignificant and humiliated, and that's not gonna help her feel good or safe or calm. So, from here on out, please recognize her for who she is.
It's time for Parental 101. Welcome to your crash course in holiday self-expression.
Just be you.
Just be me?
Yep. When you're trying to decide, think about all the things you like to do. Just be you.
Just be me.
Well, the panel here in the studio and me, we've all got our heads in our hands about that. That last one was two gay dads with a son just saying, just be you. Like, all right, maybe you think that's actually fine, but let's find out the opinion of Jamie Mitchell, founder and president of Gays Against Groomers, first of all. Jamie, good evening to you. First of all, what is the organisation Gays Against Groomers?
Yeah, well, thank you for having me on. It's my first time on this network, and I'm happy to be here tonight. Gays Against Groomers is an organization of people from within the community, mostly we are gay individuals, fighting back against the sexualization, indoctrination, and medicalization of children happening in our name under the guise of LGBTQ+ rights and activism. We are against, you know, pride shows for kids, drag for kids, the pornographic material that they put in these LGBTQ+ books. We're against indoctrinating children with these concepts of gender ideology. And above all else, we are against gender-affirming care for minors, which we would prefer to be referenced as child sterilization and mutilation, because that is what it is.
Jamie, I love you, and how can I not know you existed before tonight? Because I need you in my life, because as the mother of three teens, in fact one is in his early 20s now, I have been so incensed by how much it feels like the issue of sexuality and who you sleep with has been impressed upon my children from such a young age. Where is it coming from? Because I don't know about you, but I grew up, it just wasn't relevant. And you would encounter that journey in your own time, on your own terms.
That's exactly right, and that was always fine. You know, myself and everybody in Gays Against Groomers and every gay person alive that's like over 25 years old, we all grew up and figured out who we were naturally. We didn't have anything pushed on us. You know, it wasn't trendy to be part of some LGBTQ+ community. You know, there weren't outside forces shaping our opinions about who we are before we were even developed. And the fact that that's happening now is very scary, especially when that train leads to permanent sterilization and mutilation of young bodies who cannot consent. There's no possible way to consent as a child. And so it's very scary to see. And, you know, I think of myself, I see myself in these kids today. If I would have grown up just a few decades later, I 100% know that I would have been led to believe that I was born in the wrong body. And if my parents bought into this agenda, they too would have probably, you know, medicalized me and taken me down that permanent path. And
we're living in a time of what feels like pretty significant social change, and it makes us question things that we've even taken for granted for decades. And one of those at the moment that people are wondering about is actually money. Is the money in your bank account safe? Should you be investing elsewhere? Are we looking at a potential global crash? What will it mean for your savings? Is there a way that you could be using your money that might be outside of government control even? Well, tally money is potentially one solution. So I'm delighted to say that I'm joined today by the CEO and founder of Tally Money, Cameron Parry. What is Tally Money?
Well, at Tally Money, you basically get gold you can spend. So we give people an individual account in their name, everyday account. They get a sort code, an account number. They use that account just like they would pounds from their bank, but it's milligrams of gold that we brand as Tally.
Okay. Why would you do that, though? What is the benefit to the customer instead of just having a normal pound sterling account?
Gold's performance against the pound is above 11% per annum over the last 25 years on average. But we still need money in our daily lives, and we have savings. We know that it's good common sense and prudent to save up for things, not just living credit. You know, whether it's a holiday or a rainy day, your retirement planning, you need to have money in your life, basically, that you can rely on, that's dependable, that nobody meddles with, that nobody can weaponize against you, which is another element of government control when it's the government currency, which we could talk about another time. And it should be pretty simple and straightforward, and that's what we deliver at Tally. And really, we just want people to feel safe and happy with their money. There was a time when the bigger your bank balance, the more confident you felt. Now it's like, I need to do something with it. I can't leave it there. In Tally, you can.
Okay, brilliant. Cameron Parry from Tally Money, thank you so much.
Thank you, Bev.
One area that I think doesn't get enough attention in this conversation, Jamie, is actually the role of pharmaceutical companies nudging the dial in this direction. Because even a cursory bit of research into this shows that actually transgender or sex gender reassignment procedures is one of the most profitable areas of the pharmaceutical industry. And I do wonder which of these programs, these TV shows are receiving funding, maybe, that might be proving, in the fullness of time, to end up drawing a bit of a profit for a drug company.
Oh, definitely. I think money is the root cause of all of this, especially when it comes to the pharmaceutical industry. The gender industrial complex is loaded. They're loaded. It's a multi-billion-dollar a year industry and growing every single year. It's truly evil to profit off of anybody, especially though the most vulnerable and innocent among us who don't know any better. But yeah, I think money is obviously like a main motivator behind all of this, and it's sick. It's really sick.
Yeah, it really is. Thank you so much, Jamie. It's great to talk to you. I'd love you to come on again. I think we barely scratched the surface of what is a really important conversation there. So I'll see you again soon. But let's also speak to commentator Jeff Mead about this. Good evening, Jeff. Thank you as well for joining me. These Netflix shows, they are what are they doing? Are they just encouraging children to maybe just be themselves? We don't want to go back to the 70s where it wasn't okay to be gay, but I'm not sure we'll ever quite go back there, will we? So what are these programs doing?
Instilling confusion, I would say. For example, when you look at the two fathers that were recently with that boy telling him to be himself, and he had, it looked like a cap in one hand and a tiara in the other hand. It's like, why are we even making those things options? These kids don't know, your brain really doesn't develop fully until you're 25 anyway. So really what they're doing is instilling confusion and actually harming children from, in many cases, developing into who they actually will be, and they will help them make decisions that they will regret later as they get older.
There was a time, though, Jeff, when, as I say, it wasn't okay to be gay, and homophobia and hate attacks on gay people were the norm, and people couldn't be themselves. We don't live in that era now, do we? So how do we make sure that it is okay for boys to feel that they can, I don't know, play with dolls if they want to, and not be completely emotionally oppressed, but also not encouraging this idea, because kids are very suggestible?
Well, I think one thing is leaving it up to the parents. And again, that many of these shows are rated for 7-year-olds plus. So they're talking about, teenagers saying, I'm transgender, I'm this, I'm that. Why are we even introducing that idea to 7-year-olds? So I think it's a tough line to draw, but I think the best way is to leave that in the hands of the parents and how they want to raise their kids. But I don't think public institutions or companies should be putting those things into their products. But if they do want to put trans ideology in the products for 7-year-olds, they should be ready to deal with the backlash that comes with that.
Yeah, and that backlash is, of course, what is being felt by Netflix. Do you think there are many parents who will take that warning seriously, though? Believe me, as a mother of teenagers, if I said we're cancelling the Netflix subscription because you might get, you might be sort of persuaded by the ideology of transgenderism, there'd be some massive fights in my house because those box sets on Netflix are very popular.
Yeah, I mean, one thing is they've gotten ingrained in there pretty well, but I think if, you know, the public makes Netflix feel it enough, they'll react. And a lot of these, to be completely fair to Netflix, a lot of these things were done 2-3 years ago. They still done it, but they're just now surfacing because people are finding them. And now Netflix is essentially paying the price for what they decided to platform. And I think in a way they were caving to the woke mob when they did this.
Yeah, and there is a real anti-woke backlash. We're seeing it. You're right in the middle of it here in America. We're not quite there yet in the UK. But great to see you, Jeff. Thank you so much. Commentator Jeff Mead there. We'll love to speak to you again. Now, in a statement to similar criticism in 2021, Netflix's COCE, Ted Sarandos, said, "It is impossible to please everybody, but we are trying to please a world that is made of people of different tastes, sensibilities and beliefs, and it becomes very difficult to do that for everyone." Co-CEO, sorry, I should have said. That was Ted Sarandos talking in 2021.